when you do a PowerPoint presentation, we come from the position of everybody wears the same pair of glasses. That we all think alike. We wear the same pair of size shoes. But I'm here to tell you, Susan thinks differently than James. She's there for a total different reason. But if I got one just PowerPoint, then I'm hoping and praying that everybody sees the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is make sure that you get other people involved and allow people to talk about themselves. When people talk about themselves, guys, it takes it to another level. I kid you not. And so what we do, we sit around in our family room and we got chairs. We just sit there. And here's one of the first things we say, and I hope you write this down. And we'll ask people, the guests, guys, before we start talking about our product or our company, let's focus on you and see why you're here. Does that make sense? And people start telling their stories. Now, sometimes you got to set the precedents because they'll go on and on and on and on. Say, could you tell us, Miss Jones, why you're here? Miss Jones said, what? You're interested in me? I can tell my story, right? And guys, psychologically, it's amazing how people feel when they leave the house. A lot of them sign up, they don't even know what they're into.
Because we never mentioned, if you notice today, I never mentioned anything about longevity. I didn't say longevity. Basically, it was about them and their story and the mission. So when they walk out, they're like excited about it, and they're like, what's the name of the company? And so that's when you know it's all about them. And it's really important for the testimonials to be 3 to 4 minutes. Because guys, believe it or not, as you go on and on and on, people have forgotten about what you said. And we have people that ask, I'm not sure what their story was. So it's really important that you stick to that 3 to 4 minutes, because that's where it all starts. But a lot of people, when they start talking, they want to take you all the way back to when they were born and bring you all the way to where they are today. That's not important. My story is, and this is how I will share my story. If someone asks me to share my testimonial, I would say my story is that I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition, and I was on a medication, and I was told that I was going to be on that medication for life. Once I started drinking the Z-Radical and that Vicodin, what actually happened was that I went to my endocrinologist. She told me to come back in 6 months. She was cutting down my Synthroid. And I was like, well, you told me that I always had to be on this product, always had to be on Synthroid. She said, we'll see what happens. 6 months later, I went back. She took me off of the Synthroid. And then she said, I need to see you in another 6 months. I went back, she took me off altogether and said, you're fine. And I was just sitting there and I was going, she told me I would never ever be off. That's my story. See how quick that was? That is my story. And that's it. That's it. Okay. So a lot of people don't get that, but that's how you have to do. You have to be very succinct when you're telling your story.
So the whole crux of the Happy Healthy Hour is that you want to be interested in them, not trying to get them interested in you. Because we try and get up there and be impressive, right? If you want to impress people, encourage them to talk about themselves. Watch what happens. They'll sign up because they just want to be a part of somebody allowed me to talk about myself. It's psychological, guys. So a couple of things. When you're having a Happy Healthy Hour, please, guys, do not try and pre-sell your people that's coming into your Happy Healthy Hour. You ever seen somebody get somebody over in the corner start talking about the product, Dr. Wallach and all that? Please don't do that. Don't do that. You're talking right out of the business. Just vomit all over, right? They're saying to themselves, if I got to do that, convince people like that, I don't want no part of it. So you run them out even before they join, right? So the main thing is that if you're doing a home meeting, there are times when you have to do a big presentation like today, that you have a PowerPoint and whatnot. But it's very simple. All you do is be interested in the people that come. And the way you do that is just relax, have fun, and ask people about themselves. Now, how do you ask people about themselves? What do you say, right? To keep the conversation going. And we're going to talk about this in the approaches that Yolanda talked about. Nobody rejects us, right? And so one of the things we do in our approaches, if I'm talking to Susan, I may ask Susan about herself. And Susan may say, well, I had high blood pressure, right? And if you want to keep the conversation going, well, you want to ask Susan about her past. Well, Susan, how long have you had your high blood pressure? And let her talk. Then the present, you ask her to talk about her present. Well, Susan, how are you doing now on your high blood pressure medication? Let her talk. Well, it keeps it halfway normal, but I don't like the side effects, whatever the case may be. Say, okay, well, what kind of medication are you on? Blah, blah, blah. And then we'll ask Susan about her future. Well, Susan, are you planning on staying on your medication, or why are you here? Well, I'm here because I really like to get off my medication. So it kind of gives you a guideline on what to ask the person. Now, here's the deal. When you're having a happy, healthy hour, and you got your business partners there, the best way to do it, and you got guests there, the best way to do this is to ask somebody who's already on the product, who's been around a while, a veteran, if you will, right? They know what to do. Because the new person, they're half scared, they're going to try and sell me something, whatever the case might be. But if Susan's been in the business for a while and she's got her testimony, let Susan break the ice. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And then maybe you'll go to Pat. Let Pat talk about herself. And then the new person kind of get the gist of, hey, now I kind of know how this goes. So then you ask the new person, Miss Jones, why are you here? And she gets to rattling off. And then Yolanda will go to somebody else. She'll get the rattling off. So the healthy start, the happy healthy hour will kind of guide itself. You just allow people to talk about this.
It's very duplicatable.
Yes. And you don't have to be a great presenter. See, that's duplicatable, guys, because if you've got a group in Michigan and you're here, unless that person is a public speaker or used to speaking in front of people, they're not going to duplicate you. You don't get any duplication. But can anybody sit around and ask somebody's questions and listen? Can you do that?
Yep.
That's very duplicatable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, turn it back over to you, Dawn.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for the Happy Healthy Hour. So now it's just a matter of understanding with the Happy Healthy Hour, why don't we basically talk about personal development, and you want to do a little bit more around some background.
Well, do you have any questions around how to do a happy, healthy hour? Any questions on how to get it started? Yes, sir.
I know you missed it, but you use a slideshow or video?
We don't use a slideshow, we don't do videos. All we do with the Happy Healthy Hour is just what I did here today. But we're usually sitting around in a circle, and we normally start off as Raymond indicated, basically I'll just say, is everybody happy? And we got people that come every Thursday night, so they know what we do. So everybody's happy, healthy, and we're gonna do this all in 1 hour. And then basically I'll say, I'll start talking a little bit about the Z Radical, why we do our mission to help stop human suffering physically as well as financially. And then I'll say, but everybody's here for different reasons. And then I'll share a little bit about why a person may be here, and then I'll call on someone. And then they'll share their story as to why they're here. It could be a financial story, it could be a physical story, it could be both. Because the mission is to help stop human suffering physically as well as financially. Some people are there for the business, some people are there for the product. The product is our opportunity. So it works hand in hand, but we have to get people to understand that some people are really about, Lindsay is really about the business. Yeah, he loves the product, but you know what? Quite frankly, I'm gonna take the product. I want to have freedom. I want to make some money. So that's what we basically do. And then we'll talk a little bit about the percoid, just like I did today. It takes an abnormal cell and makes it normal, works at the cellular level. And we have a happy, healthy hour script. And you can sit there with the script in front of you if you need to. And there are folks at this table that have done that. That's how duplicatable it is. Then we'll call on someone else. And then we'll basically begin to wrap it up. And I'll tell them that we have all of these other services. Because there are some people in that room that really aren't into nutrition. They really don't want to talk to people about supplementation. But they will talk to people about our small business loans. They will talk to people about, that may be jewelry. They will talk to people about cart ripple. So we've got something for everyone, and I mention it because it may hit. And that may be where they are. And then what we'll do after that, after we have done all of that, have done our happy healthy hour, and we call it happy healthy hour for a reason. You may hear healthy happy hour, I don't care what you call it, but happy, when you really, it's psychological. When you tell somebody a happy healthy hour, pretty happy, makes you happy, healthy, right? And they may not hear the healthy part, but they hear happy hour, right? And they'll come because they're thinking about having some fun. And that's what this is all about, is having some fun in the process of making some money.
We've even had a guy to come by and bring a bottle of wine one night. Who was there at the meeting? Guy brought a bottle of wine. He was talking about happy hour. He missed healthy. He didn't come down. Yeah.
And just so no presentation, no videos. Now, Ken, if you want to incorporate a video or something in there, but remember, you want to keep it duplicatable, and you want to make sure that people are okay with it. So we just have a conversation. Then afterwards, for those that are interested in learning more about the business and getting started with that Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack, when we say Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack, guys, there are so many CEO packs. People get confused. They don't know where to start. But if you tell them Z-Radical CEO Family Mega Pack, immediately that's what they're going to think about when they're looking at those CEO packs. What is a Z-Radical? And it's got everything in it. It is the best pack out there. If you don't believe me, try it. Okay? And then, once you do that, we have a tasting of Z-Radical.
We have everybody to come into the kitchen.
And notice what he said. We have everybody to come into the kitchen. We don't bring the samples to them. You want the energy to start flowing. You want to get up. And I do my best at the end of a happy, healthy hour, I will stand up. And hopefully everybody else will stand up. And then you want to go into the kitchen and do the sampling. If those that are interested, we take them into our formal dining room. And then we sign people up and we'll talk with them. And our goal is to be able to talk with people afterwards. So that's what's so key, is to make sure that it's duplicatable. And that's a happy, healthy hour.
Yeah.
Just bring you. That's all you have to do is bring you.
Yes.
All right.
Just demonstrate quickly, please, how to invite someone if you don't know people and you want to invite them.
We're going to cover that in our quick start training, how to invite.
Yeah.
We will make sure that you make sure you get that question answered before you leave here today. Okay? All right.
Yes.
Sample any other products besides Radical? Or what?
Do what? I'm
Are
sorry.
you sampling any other products besides Radical?
No.
No.
And here's the reason why we don't get, we want it duplicatable, right? So, guys, Z-Radical works. In our opinion, we've been doing this for a combination of over 30 years, and we've seen everything. The reason we use Z-Radical is not necessarily because of us and our team, but we use it because it has such a fast effect on the body.
Yep.
We've seen Z-Radical, our record is 17 seconds.
Yep.
Guy came to, was invited, and he, you know how you have those guys, that big ego, right? And he said, he had the old man's disease. You know what the old man's disease is, right? Know everything. That's the old man's disease. All right, so he had the whooping cough. He came in there gonna time, I'm gonna take this stuff, let me see what happened. Now he had been going to the hospital for years, 6, 7 years with the whooping cough. They had to take him to the emergency room, right? Came in there, well, I know my body, 17 seconds, it was gone.
Wow.
He ain't broke.
And we also use the radical in addition to that is because all you gotta do is open the bottle and pour it. You don't have to mix it with water, you don't have to do any of that. It's duplicatable. Can anybody open a bottle and pour it?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we use it.
So if you've got a person in Michigan, one second, David, and they want to have a happy, healthy hour, right? So, but if you got to teach them to mix this and mix that, and what if they don't? What if they make a mistake? You don't make mistakes with Z-Radical. You just pour it. Just make sure you keep it cold and pour it. So you keep everything, look, if your grandma or grandpa cannot duplicate what you're doing, or a 10-year-old, you're on the wrong track. And and all you're doing is ego tripping, and you're thinking about yourself. And you're gonna end up broke. Keep everything simple. I know. See, some people are just, ego. And that was one of, when you're a businessman, you think you can do it. You know more than everybody else, right? Especially that was my situation. And I was hurting. I was broke, right? As far as this business was concerned. So when I learned to duplicate and listen, that's when my business took off. So you want to make sure that you do things that's very simple and think through the process. Okay, if I do this, can my grandma do this? Or can my team duplicate this today? If somebody gets started in Michigan that wants to join me, if I tell her how to do this and just go read this stuff, can he or she do it? If the answer is yes, it's a good system. It's a duplicatable system. But people get all, become that one-man army. They're superstars and they want to do it their way. A one-man army will always get his butt beat. That's the truth.
And you don't have to give them 4 ounces, just 1 ounce. That's all you give them to taste, to sample. Now you'll have people coming back saying, can I have another? Can I have another? But it's entirely up to you. I mean, we had one young lady shuffle her feet into our home. That's what she walked, shuffled into our home. She walked out of our home without shuffling. And just by giving her Z-Radical. Now we gave her about 4 ounces. But that's what happened. And her husband was amazed because he said, she doesn't realize that I didn't have to help her in the car. So that's what can happen. So David, you had another question?
Yeah, in the share how to get started, if during the conversation with people, and I love how you get open dialogue with everybody, if there's more of a money motivation in the room, do you go into the compensation plan at all, or big picture, residual income, or anything, or how do you address the money side?
Big picture, residual income. If you want to know more about how to get started with that, we'll talk to you one-on-one. For us, it's our formal dining room. Yeah, big picture.
Yeah, because from my experience, if you start drawing those circles up there that night, it confuses people. And a confused mind will never make a decision.
That's right.
So you get them one at a time. If you got a couple of people you want to know about.
Oh, so you tried that? You tried signing somebody up and that?
No, I'm just like the confused mind and not making a decision.
Yeah, that's
So true.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. Confused mind does not. You're right. Absolutely.
Does your team do one-on-one meetings throughout the week that feed into your weekly?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. One-on-one presentations, 2-on-1 presentations, taking someone with you, 3-way calls. Every Monday night, we have a conference call. And so we tell people to get your new people on the conference call, and we've actually signed up people, enrolled new people from listening to the conference call on Monday nights. And then we build towards the Thursday night happy, healthy hour. Bring your new people to that, so that all of a sudden they see you. Now their eye gets bigger. They see a home gathering, and then the next thing is to get them to a bigger event. Now their eyes get even bigger because now they really see that there are a whole lot of folks behind this. So yes, we do that.
So let's just cover on how you can have a happy, healthy hour at your house. All right. So the first thing you want to do, and guys, make sure, because you got to tell your people, and they don't know if they've never been in business before. Make sure the house is clean, right? Get the dogs out, put the kids away, make sure, right? I mean, because we've been in.
Don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, we've been.
If you think they should know, don't take it for granted.
Yeah, we've done meetings everywhere, flea-infested homes everywhere across the country. So make sure that, now, the second thing you want to do is make sure as people come in that you greet them. As they're coming in, you want to have a register book, right? Put their names and numbers, get your little register book. And as they come in, make sure that you greet them with a smile, right? I'm happy to see. You should see our team. We love each other so much we can't stand it. I mean, we are really. You come to our meetings, it's full of love. People want to join because we so down to earth and we have fun and we just say anything, right? And people like that. They like that. We're real, right? So you want to make sure that you hug them or touch them some kind of way with a smile. And then they go into the family room and they sit down. Now, make sure you have some lively music going on, right? We used to have that kind of that jazz, kind of slow. Now we got it thumping now, right? We're bringing everybody up, right? And so everybody's happy. Every once in a while, somebody will break out in a dance. They hear a song they like, bam! We just have fun, right? And then our meetings start at 7:35. I don't care who it is, the Pope is coming, 7:35, we start at 7:35, we start. Anybody ever had a meeting and waiting on that big important person? Oh, he coming, right? And when he comes or she comes, they may sign up, but they never do anything anyway. You waiting on, it's what we call elephant hunt, right? It doesn't work. You respect, I don't care who it is, if it's one or two people, you respect everybody's time, right? So you do the meeting, make sure it lasts 1 hour. Yolanda goes through Dr. Wallach, a little bit about the company, and then we'll say something to the effect, everybody says a little different. Guys, before we start talking about our products or deeply about the company, let's focus on you. Whoa, focus on me? People love to hear that. Because here's the deal, it's psychological, guys. Babies cry for it. Adults will die for it. What is that? Attention. They'll join just because it's psychological. They want to be a part of people who are interested in them. Does that make sense? So we have a meeting. At the end of the meeting, Yolanda tells people how to get signed up. We always promote the Z-Radical Healthy Start Pack. Then she'll say, well, everybody, let's get up and go to the kitchen so you can taste the Z-Radical. So everybody has to taste. A lot of times I'll say, well, smell it first because it has a good smell to it, right? And have you ever seen those people that think that they're going to gag before they take the product, right? But that's why we ask them to smell it. And then they drink the product. And then that's it. Then we ask people, for those that are interested, that want to get started tonight, you take them into a different room. Make sure you got your application in there and meet with a clipboard, right? And that's the way you do it. That's what we do. And
we're done. Bam.
Yeah. And in the happy hour, how important is team support?
Team support is really important. I mean, had they not been here today, I would have called on people that I know as far as sharing the story and getting more people involved, but we wanted you to kind of see how it was going to work. So being able to call on folks that you know can share stories or have stories is important. So, and then people see that it's a team. They see that it's not just you doing it, that they're going to have support from a team. And people love to see that because everybody's thinking, can I do this? But when they see that that's a team behind them, they can do it, and the support's there.
Yeah. When you build this team and you build it, when you actually love your people, a fish watch from the head down, right? Love starts from the head down. If you love your people and you care about them, we all love each other. They know. Amanda can have a meeting across town an hour away. You know, Houston is big. And everybody here, whether they're in Amanda's team or not, will go and support. Am I right, guys?
Yes.
That's the way we do. You go in a house full of people, they'll never see a penny of what Amanda produces, but they love support. Now that starts with you. You got to promote that, and your people got to see that. And then all of a sudden, everybody everywhere, and we just round the whole city having fun. Does that make sense?
And you get to bring your guests to the happy healthy hours. Doesn't matter whose it is, but you get an opportunity to bring your guests to many different places. And then by Thursday night, your guests could have people that they're bringing to the Thursday night happy healthy hour, which is the bigger happy healthy hour. So that's what this is all about. It's all about everybody doing a little bit. So that's important that everybody understands that.
Can you talk a little bit more about how to keep the energy flow if we're meeting?
Okay, sure. They know that I'm really high on energy. I'm really high on energy. And what I mean by that is this. When you go into a happy healthy hour, guys, you don't just sit down. You stand up and you stay up. You're greeting people, you're talking with people. And then when we get started, we sit down. So and you have the music playing. As Raymond indicated, you have some really lively music playing. And then when you're talking or sharing your story, you know, have energy around talking and sharing your story. You know, and that's really important that you do that too. So if this is about being healthy, and this is about really wanting people to be a part of a team, if they see that you're just, you know, low energy, it's so logical, it's all of this, they're not going to be a part of it. But when they feel and see the energy, they're going to be a part of it. And really, if everybody would follow the lead of whoever's leading your happy, healthy hour, that's important. And what I'm able to do, since I know most of the folks on the team, I kind of preset what they're going to say and kind of lead them that way. So when they start sharing, they can start at that moment and keep going. So it's really important that you're able to do that. And then the other thing is, when that leader or whoever's doing the happy, healthy hour stand up, everybody else should do the same thing. Should stand up. That creates more energy.
Yeah,
so
guys,
it's really important that you do that. Great question, that you do that.
So guys, Yolanda and I, we're not standing up talking to everybody or being, at the happy hour. We're sitting around in a circle just like everybody else, right? That's what you want to do. You're part of the team. So you don't have to get up there and pontificate and see how important. Now let me tell you the reason why we do this, because here's the deal about excitement. Excitement, how many people have had people to come to the meetings and they get all pumped up and you don't see them anymore? Anybody other than me? Okay, well here's the reason for that. It's called buyer's remorse. When you get real excited about something, especially when you're doing a PowerPoint and everybody's whooping and hollering, normally they're joining for your reasons and not theirs. The way you build a big organization, and we're going to go into this when we start talking about the approaches, is that people join for their reasons and not yours. And so when you're doing that, you're trying to talk somebody into something. But when they join for their reasons, they're sitting there and they're thinking, I hear these testimonies. They're joining. If they have a desire, they will join for their reason. Guys, it's not your job to make people sign up. You know how we've been taught, if anybody's in sales, that if you don't sign somebody up, it's your fault. No, it's not. We have a lot, one of the things about network marketing, everybody's going to jump up and down and everything, and in the end, 2-3 days later, they're gone. You know why? They got excited that night, but 3 days later, you ain't around them. They join for the wrong reasons. They join because everybody else is jumping up and down and whooping and hollering. And guys, there's places for excitement, okay? But I'm talking about genuine excitement. So you want to make sure that they join for themselves and not you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so that now, your ego gets in the way because then we're going to talk again. When we go over the approaches, it's going to all come together and start making sense to you.
And with the approaches, we'll be talking about how to invite. So you'll get you got it. You got it. Yep.
Any more questions?
So that means you can't leave.
about the music. She's our diva. I have direct TV, guys, you know, and we got all those channels, so it has music channels on it. So I put it on
8:45.
yeah, channel 845, retro disco. You know, we won't stop. There you go.
So when you think about it, we do, if there are some songs that you want to kind of think about, we have Disco Inferno, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, Happy, and I Want to Be Rich, and Fire. Those are just some of the ones that if we were to go somewhere, we have them on a CD, that's what we would play. But you know, get what's really good for you, but get something that's fast and will give people energy. You know, so that's what you really got to think about. So when you're doing this, because you don't want to play something, even though you may love jazz or you may love something very soothing or love songs, that ain't the place for it. Okay?
That's a good thing, and that's a very good point. Now I'm going to say something that you're not going to agree with, but if you're going to build a big business, you might want to heed to this. Just because you're involved with a particular type of music, remember you got people from all, and in your organization, if you're going to build a big organization, you're going to have every religion, everything else. That's just the way our country is. So don't get hung up on trying to play one particular music, whether it's disco or country or whatever it is. You got to understand that we are all, people like different things, right? So you want to make sure that you play something, but make sure it's not offensive to anybody. Like we wouldn't play rap. Everybody, the youngest person that comes to our meeting is like, what, 45, 50? So we don't play rap. It would make sense. I don't understand it anyway.
You got some people at the table that like rap.
You got some youngsters
Is
in
it
here.
Beyonce and I like rap?
Oh, excuse me, that's it.
All right, so any other questions?
Any questions? Have you learned anything? That's the most important. All right?
There's something back here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, say it again. What flyer for? Oh, that's a very good point. We are the flyer. They are the flyer. They're inviting people to the Happy Healthy Hour. It's just really, you know, word of mouth. You know, that's what we do. Flyers for big events, but for Happy Healthy Hours, again, we want to make it very duplicatable. We just have a way to invite people, and then that's what we do. Yeah.
So you basically edify the happy hour.
We edify
We edify the happy hour so that people.
other people that may be speaking at that Happy Healthy Hour, but basically you edify the Happy Healthy Hour, the principle around it. Yes, indeed, you're spot on with that. Yep. It's about the team. Anybody else? Is lunch about ready? I don't know what
I
you're...
have a question for you unrelated to mine.
Yes.
It's only about 5 minutes. When you guys look at longevity as it relates to other companies out there, we have a lot of products, right? A lot of diversity. Other companies have one product and say that's a strength. We say our diversity is a strength, right? For someone who's brand new here today and they're here because they love the products, but they also want to take the next step to start building a business, do you have any suggestions for them on why longevity versus another company out there?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll take a stab at it and you can add in. Basically, what I would say to someone like that, because he's right. Some companies will say that have one product, that's their strength, that's that one product. But with our diversity, I would tell you, coming from a company that had one product and being able to look at what we have here, it's really important that you understand that you can capture the attention of many people. And where we may have lost a person with just having one product, we can get them here because we have not only products, but we have services. All right, so it really is about the diversity that we have, but if you notice what we do with that diversity, we focus on one product. But once that person gets into longevity, into what we do, they can go and look at all the other products, and guess what? They're doing that because they choose to. It's what they want to do. And now all of a sudden they're ordering all these other products that there are products that people will come to me and say, oh my God, Yolanda, I tried this product. I'm sure you tried this product. I'm like, I didn't know we had it, you know. And they'll tell me about something else, and I go, I didn't know that either. See, I got one regimen that works for me, and that's what I do, that works for me. All the other products, if there are folks that want to try the new products, they can. But it doesn't mean that what I do is wrong, it means that what I do is good for me. But I'm going to support everybody else that wants all the other products. So that's the diversity that we have, and I support the people that want the jewelry. I support the people that, we have one lady that's really into pets. She has a pet sitting business. I told her, I said, you want support from us, we're going to support you. Start your own conference call because you're really into pets. And we can support you with that. And that's what we do. I have one lady that, we have one lady that's interested in weight loss. She's all about weight loss. I said, okay, that's where your energy is, that's what you want to do, you need to start a conference call on weight loss. And so that's what we do, is basically help support that. But diversity, I think, being able to say that a company with one product to a company with diversity, it's rich, it's very rich.
And I want to add the other side to that, not only about our products, because everybody in the world says their product is the best, don't they? And they should. So what we do is and I want to encourage you guys, if you're ever wondering what you should say in a situation, here's what you say. Whatever your heart tells you. You speak for you. The people that make it big in this business are the ones that do it from their hearts. All right, so you got to take this stuff to heart. So one of the things that I say, on the other side, piggyback off Yolanda, is this. See, there are some people that are what we call network marketing junkies. They jump from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. The hottest thing is out, they'll jump to it, right? Now, because I got a guy, he's the #1, he gets paid, I think it's over $1 million a month. Anybody ever heard of Holden Bugs? Yeah. He lives there in Houston, Texas. He makes $1 million a month. And every 4 or 5 years, Holden calls me and say, Ray, this thing is the best thing since sliced bread. Now here's the deal, and he has a group of people that follows him. Right? Yep. To the new deal, to the next new deal. And I'm saying, Holden, you told me the last one you was in was the best thing since sliced bread. Now you got this one, right? Where's your stickability? Where's your character? Because see, when I'm talking to you, Susan, when you join up with us, with the Majestic Eagles, we doing this from our heart. This ain't a game we're playing, right? So we're going to talk from our heart and say, listen, so here's what I tell people. When you're jumping from place to place, you're not a network, you're not a professional. You just jump hoping one day you're going to get lucky enough, like winning the lottery. That's not a big, I will never follow a person like that. And you want me in your organization, right? But I would never follow a person like that. And here's the reason why. Because stability is the name of the game, and you gotta think about your organization. Some people are so selfish, all they do, and they're leaders, they just think about themselves. Well, I go over here, and they got those people that will follow. They know good and well that those people down there are not gonna make any money. They know it, but they do it anyway. I would never do my team like that, never. So here's what I say as far as, when somebody asks, well, what makes you different than your longevity different than XYZ company? Here's what I say. I say, look, Dr. Wallen speaks 300 days out of the year, out of 365 days a year. And here's the way I break it down. This is honest. I say, now, here's a man that could have his own island, right? With the amount of money they bring. They have his own jet, his own servants, but he's out here 300 days out of the year telling his story. And guess what, Susan? It's free. He uses his own money to fly and come and tell everybody his story because he's interested in people and not money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's what I tell people, and that's the case. And then I'll ask Susan, I'll say, Susan, you tell me how many doctors you know would do that. And they always say, none. That's what you do. You speak from your heart. That's a true story. Does everybody in here agree with that?
Yeah.
That's all you got to do is speak from your heart. Tell that story. Does that kind of answer that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Well done.
Anybody else got any questions before we break? You like the happy healthy hour deal?